Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines, in western Visayas of the Philippines. If you're not familiar with the map of the Philippines is basically broken into Luzon, the middle part Visayas, and then Mindanao. Visayas, we're in Western Visayas is where we're located. I'm gonna start today live stream with the weather. I always start with the weather. Right now, there is a severe tropical storm. It's called Gorio, Gorio, within the PAR. PAR is called the Philippine Area of Responsibility here, and it's estimated to be 755 kilometers east of Batanes. So that's gonna cause rain in the northern extreme part of the Philippines, northern Luzon. The rest of the country, basically, it's the Habagat is affecting the rest of the country. Habagat is southwest monsoon here in the Philippines. So during usually the start of July until end of October is considered Habagat season. And with Habagat, it brings in cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. But here in our province of Aklan, in Numancia, our area, we have not gotten much rain here. Nothing but sunshine. Nothing but sunshine is what we've been getting. I'm gonna show you real quick. It's like bright and sunny here again this morning. I have to wear my hat because and it's early. It's only 7:30, and you'll see how bright and sunny it is already. Look at that sun. I mean, that sun is just like. And I checked the temperature in our area. It's 27 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 degrees, 27 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Right there, bright and sunny this morning already. Not as blue skies today like yesterday. I see some white clouds, but I don't see any rain clouds anywhere around our area here. Just nice and sunny again. Oh, I see Kuya there, his motorbike on that scaffolding. I see he is mixing paint. So I'm correct. He is gonna be painting that house. That's gonna be once he finished painting there. I would not be surprised if somebody moves into that house. But like you see, quiet in our neighborhood, like always. I just took Leanna to school. You can kind of see like a little breeze, like you can see the plants here. They're a little breeze this morning. Not warm at all. I'm not gonna be sweating out here this morning. Maybe in an hour. There's Bumblebee, our tricycle. That's our tricycle Bumblebee. And there's our car, our Toyota Wigo. Just quiet in our neighborhood as always. JP, good morning, JP. We are 100 degrees, but only, 20, that's not bad, 20%. We're usually, JP, we're usually like 70% to like 80% humidity here. This morning, I don't feel like it's humid yet. It will get humid though, it's like, right now it's not bad, but I know later on it's gonna get humid here. Hello, Soul Flame Studio. Hello, good morning. And I prepared some items to report that way, just in case nobody has any questions for me. The dollar remains strong here in the Philippines. The exchange rate, let me see here, is 57.18. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, 57.18 as of yesterday afternoon. Um, just a few months ago, I would say back in June, it had dropped to like 55. So to me, anything over 50 is is a good exchange rate. I remember when I first moved to the Philippines in 2011, the exchange rate was 39 pesos to $1. So to me, it's like anything above 50 is like a bonus. It's extra money in my pocket here. In the news, I wanted to report this in the news. Big news here in the Philippines because this continues. This keeps continuing in the West Philippine Sea. Chinese ships, they continue to harass. There's a marooned like ship there that the Philippines kind of uses as a base. They supply that ship. There's like actually personnel they're assigned, and but they continue to harass Filipinos in the West Philippine Seas. Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese Navy vessels. And yesterday, there was a collision, damage, serious damage on one of the ships, actually, the Chinese Coast Guard ship. I mean, I saw pictures online. I'm gonna, but you can easily Google it. You'll see the pictures. It like creamed the front of that Chinese Coast Guard ship. And what's funny is they rammed their own ship. The Chinese Coast Guard, they rammed like a Chinese naval military boat. So they collided with each other. Their own ships collided with each other. One ship was spraying water. That's a technique that they use. The Philippine Coast Guard, they were water cannon. They're using like water cannon to harass the Philippine ships. But it ended up being that they damaged their own ship. And that's been going on here. I mean, it seems like forever now, at least the past year. Incidents like that in the West Philippine Sea has been happening at least, I would say, a half a dozen times. I don't think it's going to end. They're going to continue harassing Philippine Coast Guard. And they don't have right to, everything I've read about it. The Chinese claims that it's their territory, but they don't have any legal basis. Actually, the Philippines has legal basis on the West Philippine Sea. That's why even Google Maps recognizes it. It's now called the West Philippine Sea. The whole area is no longer called the South China Sea. It's now called that little part, not all, just a little part near the Philippines. It's part of the West Philippine Sea. But they continue to harass ships there. That's just the thing that China does. It's like I don't think that's ever gonna end. All right. And then today I was gonna do a topic. I always get this question. Actually, today I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna make our monthly budget video. I have enough information. I just paid my cable bill. I just paid the electric bill, so I could do a monthly. Later on, I'm gonna make a video. But I always get questioned. This is like a popular question to me. Can I survive on my Social Security for people in America? They're receiving their Social Security. Can they survive here? And my answer always is there's many people here in the Philippines that live here on Social Security, but to me it's an individual. It's specific to individual. That's why when I talk to people, I like to ask them questions. How much savings they have, how do they have medical issues? Do you have a lot of medical issues if you're on Social Security? Because one thing that's not available here in the Philippines is Medicare. There is no Medicare here. So if you're on Social Security, you're counting on Medicare as your main medical insurance. We do not have Medicare here. I mean, they're pushing a law right now to allow Medicare in the Philippines, but it hasn't been approved yet. We'll find out. I think 1 October, because they had included it in FY 2026 bill. Like on the budget, the FY 2026 budget, which starts on 1 October. So we'll find out soon. We'll find out like in October if there's a few countries, I think 10 or 12 countries that are allies of the United States, and they were considering on that bill, it says that to accept Medicare in those countries. But that's always a question I always get asked, whether is it enough? So and of course, people have different amounts of Social Security. That's the thing too. It's like that's why when I talk to people, when they contact me, I do a video call or an audio call. I always ask them. I'm just frank. I ask them like, how much is your Social Security, and then I go from there, because not everybody gets the same amount of Social Security. So for me, I think a good number, if you're single, by yourself, you don't have any debt. That's another thing, you don't have any debt, because that's big with Americans. Americans, unfortunately, even at the Social Security age, it's like there's a lot of Americans in debt, and I'm finding that out. That's why I always ask that too. It's like, how much debt are you carrying? But a good amount for a single person, if you're making Social Security, if it's about $1,500, doable to come here to the Philippines with that money. Now, if you're expecting to live in BGC, Cebu City, those nice cities, you're not gonna make it there on. There's people that claim they can make it there on 1,500, but to me, when I help people, I try to like put them in a situation where they're gonna have a comfortable life. You can survive, right, on anything. You can survive on any amount of money, but are you having fun? Is it a good retirement? So, but for me, if you have like $1,500 a month on Social Security, you can retire here, in my opinion, just my opinion, because this is what I've seen here, if you live in the province. Because one of the things that you'll find in the province is the lower cost of living. Housing specifically. You can get good housing here, especially like here in Aklan province. You can get good housing here for 1 bedroom, sometimes even 2 bedroom, sometimes even a house for 10,000 pesos. Under $200 you could do here. Even in our community here, you can find a place here in our community that's like around 10,000 pesos. I know foreigners here that are living here in our subdivision, renting the same type of house that I have, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and they're paying around 10,000 or sometimes even lower that money. So it's doable, because usually that's your biggest expense, and then of course, your next big expense would be your food. But the food here in the province, it's affordable. It's like Aklan province is like one of the lower cost places that you'll find, as far as like the cost of fruits, the cost of vegetables. It's like I think you've seen it some in our videos, and in James and Karen's videos, James and Karen's Adventures, you see the prices of like potatoes, prices of cabbage, prices tomatoes in Balete. Balete is like really nice for James and Karen, because Balete is like to me, in the whole of Aklan, Balete is kind of like our vegetable and fruit area. That's where a lot of that comes from, because I guess they have really fertile land, good land. And Dazzle and I, we actually even go to Balete just to shop for fruits and vegetables. Good price on the food, on the fruits and vegetables in Balete. Those are pretty much your big expense, would be your housing and your food. And here, the thing that I always tell people if they move here to like Aklan province, Calibo, our area here in Numancia, the thing that's nice here is you don't really need a vehicle. It's like I know we're kind of spoiled. We have Bumblebee, our tricycle, we have our car, but I lived here in Aklan province. I moved here like 2011. The first 3 years here, I didn't have a vehicle. I had a bicycle. I rode my mountain bike everywhere. So it's like I didn't need it. I actually didn't need it. It was a luxury for me to get a car. It was a luxury for me to get a tricycle, a motorcycle. You don't have to have it because public transportation is abundant. There's jeepneys, tricycles are everywhere. It's like that's why I don't think you really. And then if you want to travel to like Iloilo, Rojas City, you want to travel to Boracay, there's buses and there's vans, and they're very reasonably priced. A lot cheaper than once you get a vehicle, because once you get a vehicle, you got expenses with the vehicle. You got like the registration fee, the insurance, maintenance, and then gas. So, but it's a luxury. And then most expats when they move here, most expats, that's kind of like their thing. Get a motorbike. It's like because it's fun. It's a cheap way to get a vehicle, and it's just like a nice vehicle to have. Like I said, like the NMAX, the Yamaha NMAX 155, and then the Honda ADV 160. Those are like the two brands that expats get here. And then most people, when they come here, because they know that they don't have a Medicare here, most people here just self-insure. Some, like I have a friend, Robbie. I have a few friends that actually went with Pacific Cross. They got insurance with Pacific Cross. But I would say 80% of the expats I know here don't carry insurance. Most of them just like save the money. It's like because if you're signed up for Medicare in the US, you're paying in like $185 at least, around that number, a month to Medicare. So a lot of expats that I know here, they just save that money. They save that money because you figure 185. If you save that money in 1 year, easily over 2,000. You're saving at least $2,000 a year. And it's not like you can go get medical care here without insurance. I mean, like a visit to a doctor here, a visit to a specialist, even at Asia Pacific Medical Center. That's where I go to get checked here in Calibo. Each visit will cost you like 500, 600 pesos, $10 to $11 a visit. And a lot of times, they'll write the script, you'll get your prescriptions at the Mercury Drug. So it's not expensive to see a doctor. It's when you have like, surgeries and things like that. And a lot of expats, what they do is like, if it goes to that, like if they get checked and they find out that they need surgery, they need something, they just fly back to the US, to use their Medicare. One of my friend, he lives in Iloilo City. He decided to fly to Thailand to get his surgery done. I mean, and also here, people get their surgery done here and pay cash. It's a good idea, to have like before you come here. Even if you're only receiving Social Security, it's a great idea if you have like a medical emergency fund. For me, I like my before I moved here, I like my medical emergency fund to be around $6,000. That's just me. You can create your own medical emergency fund, but that's money that I allotted to something happens. That's what I would use to like get care here in the Philippines or fly to Guam. Because I have TRICARE medical insurance and they have TRICARE in Guam. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it, but like I said, what I'm finding is most of the expats I know, they just save their money, and then when they get sick, pay for cash. And a lot of them, like my friend Brian, what they do is they do get PhilHealth. For me, again, I'm not selling PhilHealth. I'm not selling it to anyone. Ruben, the same way. Ruben just got PhilHealth. He showed me his PhilHealth card. The PhilHealth to me, it's like it's basically a discount card. It's not a medical insurance. All it is like you get discounts on different types of procedures when you go to hospitals here. And a lot of hospitals, they like it when you have that PhilHealth card because they know they can bill portion of your bill with PhilHealth. People with PhilHealth, you'll get priority in any hospital here, private hospital. That's the first thing they'll ask you anyway. Do you have insurance? And the minute you show your PhilHealth, they like seeing that. And the cost of PhilHealth for expats is about 17,000 pesos a year. So that's not much. It's like under $300 a year for insurance. So maybe $25 a month. It's like to me, it's good to have. I always tell people the more insurance you have, the better. Like me, I've always had TRICARE. I'm United States Air Force retired, so I've always had TRICARE medical insurance here. But the minute I landed here in the Philippines, I got PhilHealth because I figure, it can't hurt. It's like the more discount, the more savings I can get on medical care, the better for me. And it's worked out because I've had medical issues like most people on the live stream that watch me. But I'd had to go through some treatments in Iloilo City, and all my planning worked out great. It's like it didn't bankrupt me. It didn't bankrupt me. It's like I didn't have to worry about finances when I was going through my treatments in Iloilo City. And then the common theme, this is really not about budget or anything, but the thing that most expats that I talk to that come here single, it's just for them, it's like the opportunity to meet a Filipina. That's I think that's the common theme. Not all that come, are like, many come here without even looking at dating sites or doing that. They just want to come here, figure out the Philippines, land here, make a soft landing, see what kind of life they can build here, and then meet the Filipina. And to me, that's like the best way. It's like, I would stay away from dating sites and all that. It's like a lot of scams going through there. And then chances are the Filipina that you're talking to on dating sites probably talking to several men. So it's a lot better for, just my opinion. If you just come here, get settled first, and then the Filipina will come. It's like there's so many Filipinas here. That's to me, it's like what's the rush on finding one right away? It's like take your time, take your time. But a lot of people tell me, I've talked to the ones that I come here already. I talk to them. We drink coffee. We talk. A lot of them were just telling me it's almost like impossible to like date in the U.S. now, Canada. They're saying it's just hard to date, and then just they're looking for the traditional Filipina. And a lot. That's why a lot of people come here to the province. There's more of that. I would say. There's more of the traditional Filipinas still living out here in the province than in the city. Because, the Filipinas in the cities, they're exposed to Western culture. Their English is spot on. They're eating at like Outback Steakhouse, TGIF. They know all about the Western food. Like here in the province, it's like even with Dazzle, when I met Dazzle, she didn't know, she don't know nothing about that. So that's why a lot of foreigners, when they come here, they prefer going to the provinces to meet their Filipina. Just my observation. That's just what I see. And then a lot of the foreigners I talk to, they're just looking for that simple life. And to me, the Aklan province or any province in the Philippines, that's what checks the box for a lot of foreigners, because you're at that retirement age, you're at that Social Security age. You just want peace and quiet, I know some still go to the cities, but to me that for me that defeats the purpose of retirement for me. If I'm gonna retire and I'm gonna live in BGC or something like that, or Cebu City, all that crowd and all that noise, as I have aged, I'm 59 now, it's like I enjoy peace and quiet. I enjoy this, I'm sitting here in my yard and all I'm feeling is like I'm feeling the breeze. I'm not hearing any noise. I'm not hearing any honking of the horns. I'm not hearing people. I'm not hearing traffic. This to me is retirement. And I live close to the ocean. We live like less than 3 miles to the beach. I can just get on Bumblebee now after the live stream and go to the beach and just sit there. Same quietness. To me that for me anyway, that's what retirement is for me. I like the peace and quiet. That's why I really fell in love with Aklan province, and I really fell in love with this type of lifestyle. And the thing, it's like one thing I just want to add before this topic, my discussion on this topic is like, as a foreigner, when you come here to the Philippines, unless you really want to isolate yourself from other foreigners, you're gonna feel at home here. In my opinion, because there's expats here, there's Americans here, there's Canadians, there's British, Australians. So it's almost like you almost have to make an effort to, like, if you really want to isolate yourself and not be around expats. And I know people that do that, but to me, I think you're gonna be hurting yourself eventually, because you might think that you don't need the expat, the bonding with the Westerners and stuff, but I think it's a good thing. It's like I enjoy it when I go to the Canadian Beaver. I see Mike, I see James and Karen when they go to the Canadian Beaver. My friends from Iloilo City when we meet there. When I go, I like that conversation, because like, if you can imagine, if you move here and you're a foreigner and you're in an area where you're isolated just among all Filipinos, you're gonna, it's not my friend actually from Las Vegas. He's the one that told me. He said, "Man, it's hard. It's hard when you're an American and there's no Americans around you or no foreigners around you, and it's all Filipino." It's like I've never been in that situation, because I'm American, I'm also Filipino, so I'm always outgoing. But I could imagine what my friend from Las Vegas had to go through when he lived in Antique, because he said there's not places to go where you can just sit there in a bar with the other expat, just shoot the breeze, talk about football, talk about, it could be isolating, if you do that, it can get lonely, without expat friends. Many people say that, oh, I don't want to be around expats, they're terrible, but I think, it's also fun, to be around expats. I know in Boracay, they got a big group of expats in Boracay. They hang out at Nigi Nigi every night at happy hour. They hang out at the Levantin on the back beach. Big community of expats in Boracay. Okay, hello, review. All right. Fortune, hey, good, my good friend from Bacoor, Cavite. Good AM, fam. You must be working from home today, Fortune, because you traveled to Manila yesterday. Took your kid to UP, University of the Philippines, for first day of school. First day of school, man. Edgar, is Bumblebee bigger or smaller than the hired cabs in Calibo? Hello, it's smaller. It's smaller, Edgar. I made it smaller on purpose because the tricycles that's in Calibo, they're huge. They're big. It's like the front, the where you sit like straight. You can fit like two adults and a kid. There's even a seat for the kids, so three. And then in the back, there's like, if I don't think you can fit like American-sized people in there. Like me, I have a struggle, but they put four people in the back. So that one tricycle can carry 7 passengers on the cab, and then behind the driver. So 8 passengers is normally what the tricycles in Calibo carry. Bumblebee can only carry one. I mean, Leanna and Dazzle can sit on the. It used to be easier for them to sit together because, but Leanna's getting bigger now, getting taller. So, but they can still fit Leanna and like yesterday when we picked up, we even had Chloe. So Leanna, Daz, and Chloe were in the cab. But it's a small fit for them. For me, I made sure like if I'm riding the cab, I had it taller because I'm 5'10", so I made sure that the ceiling I can sit up straight. The guy actually like had me sit on the chair and he measured it to make sure that I had enough headroom. Same thing when I'm riding it. Most of the tricycles, when you ride a tricycle, you kind of have to duck down because like they make the roof on it like I cannot it's like I can't see how the drivers do it because they're kind of like bending your neck the whole day. Me, I made sure it's like plenty of space. Like I got like a gap like this on my canopy on the motorbike, but it's smaller. I made it smaller because I wasn't really planning on taking a lot of passengers. Plus, the motorbike, it's only a 125cc scooter. So, but because my cab is small, I still have a pretty good juice on that. I still can go good speed, good speed. I can get in the highway, I can get to like 60 kph, kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers per hour. I think that's about 39 miles an hour. I can go on that. And it's allowed here in the province. Unlike if you live in Manila, I know in the expressway in Manila, you have to have the big bikes to ride there. Here in the province, man, you can have a pedicab. You can have one of those where you pedal like a bicycle in a cab, and you're good to go on the highway here. There's nothing. They don't have any rules, and anything goes here. Anything goes here in the province, and it's like that's what's fun about the province, I think. And it's like even on they consider like national highway here. Man, there's like you'll see like carabaos in there. You see goats in there. It's like that's what makes Aklan province fun. It's still rural. It's provincial life. I think you've seen that. I've seen that on some of James and Karen's adventures on their videos when they're around Aklan province. I know, right? You've seen those videos. It's like some of the things that you'll see on the road sometimes, you may go, whoa, did I just see that? Did I just see that? Them transporting like a big cow or a big carabao in like a tricycle. It's like it's a motorbike with a sidecar and that it doesn't have the cab. It's just open, and you'll see like a carabao there. They tie the carabao to like the rails. You see all kinds of stuff they transport here, and then you see like those little golf carts that they look like little golf carts, electric golf carts, and you don't even need a license for those. You don't even need a registration. They treat it like a bike, right? Like a bicycle. So they're on the road. It's like I could be riding Bumblebee, I could be riding a car, and they're side by side with me. It's like, and more of them, more and more of those electric. Pretty soon, I'm sure they have to come up with rules for them. I think, right? Because like they're on the road, those and. I've seen teenagers, right, driving them, without a license. You still need to. I would think you still need to know the rules of the road. But nobody really follows rules of the road here. So I guess it doesn't matter. Kevin, Philippines, all right. Good AM, Edgar, all right. Hey, there he is, James and Karen. Good morning, James. Good morning, Karen. I was just talking about like you guys like on your travels here in Auckland, how James always likes filming like things like you just kind of like surprises you. Like even now for me, when I first saw it, of course I was like, did I just see that? Like the long bamboo, like 20 foot of bamboo transporting like a pile of bamboo, and it's a tricycle transporting it. It's like on the highway, and they're like kind of like swerving, like swerving on the highway, and you're like, how can I pass this guy? How can I pass this guy? You just see stuff here that just kind of makes you smile when I see it. Kevin, what do you think of Manny? Oh, Manny Pacquiao's awesome, man. Manny Pacquiao's always going to be a legend, a hero here in the Philippines. Nothing Manny can do now he's cemented as like the greatest boxer. He's like in the Filipino mind. It's like Manny's like a legend. He's a hero here. The posse is forming up. The posse is forming up. Good AM, JNK, James and Karen, JB. All right. Contact Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he'll take my phone call, man. I don't think Manny will be taking my phone call, man. Howdy, Edgar. All right. It looked like he was definitely going after the Philippine Coast Guard ships, and so was the other. Yeah, I know, right? I know, Edgar. It looked like they were, I saw it. They were like doing the water cannon on the Chinese Coast Guard ship was doing the water cannon on the Philippine ship, and then I think the China military, the Navy, was kind of going the same thing. And then next thing you know, they slammed into each other. And the thing is, it's like the Philippines, I know they put more emphasis in building the military here. We bought like the past 2 years, 2024, and then this year, two deliveries already from India, the BrahMos missiles, and they're gonna order more. And I know they're upgrading the Philippine Navy. They're building destroyers and stuff. So the Philippines is investing a lot in its own defense. And I think maybe this incident happened because I did see, last week, President Marcos, the president of the Philippines, he was interviewed by the popular lady in India. I love watching the news, the India news. She interviewed President Bongbong Marcos, and he did say, it's like if China invades Taiwan, Philippines will more likely be, joining the battle, to defend Taiwan. And China didn't like hearing that. So maybe this incident maybe this was another attempt, like to provoke things. There's a lot of oil and gas in the West Philippine Sea. They want it. Yes, I'm sure. Greedy China. They want everything that they don't own. It's like the Philippines has a lot of like oil, a lot of gas, a lot of natural resources. So I'm sure. And like I said, they don't have any right towards it. It's like they claim that they own that, but no law, no judgment for them. The Philippines actually has won in the world court, and awarded that land to that area to the Philippines, but China doesn't recognize it. Good maneuver by the smaller. Yes, yes, Fortune, right? It's like I've been watching the video, and it's like they got some talent, man. They got some talent. Maybe they're learning a lot of maneuvers from the U.S. military, because I know the Philippines, they train a lot of and that's the thing here, in the Philippines. Even when I was stationed here back in the 80s, when I was in the Air Force, we trained with the Philippine Air Force. They work in our hospital, so it's, I'm sure Philippine military, Philippine Coast Guard is benefiting from all the United States military personnel in the Philippines. They're learning from the best, right? They're learning from the best. Fortune, a watch trip to Negros. So many, and I know you mentioned that. You mentioned that to me, Fortune, that there was many bumblebees in La Cast. Here, I don't see many of them. Here in Calibo, in Numancia, I've seen different types. Like you can pretty much create your own cab here, like a sidecar. You can create any tricycle because they built it from scratch. They weld it. You can just give them a design and they'll design it for you. They're really good at that, fabricating like the cab, like the sidecar, fabricating any sidecar really. They're really good at that. Most places in the Philippines will have that because tricycle is like so popular, especially in the provinces. Do you think that will ever escalate? I hope not. I hope it doesn't escalate. And it's good that that they're, I'm military background. I always believe in deterrence. It's like, I don't think China will ever try anything, that they're afraid of the United States. It's like they do not want to go into battle with the United States. United States is battle tested. We've been through many wars. Our Navy is superior. It's like, I don't care what China says. I don't care the number of ships they have, whatever. They have no chance against the U.S. Navy. Our U.S. Navy is like the most advanced weapons, the most advanced trained. We train 24/7. We got submarine people underneath water for like 6 months training underwater. It's like they do not want to mess with the United States. And Bert, Chinese is part of the history. Yeah, they're part of a history of the Philippines for sure, but I don't think they're not in good standing with Filipinos, and they keep doing things like this, man. I know there's a lot of Filipino Chinese. I know that there's a lot of like Chinese people that live here in the Philippines, but it's not their fault. It's not the Filipino Chinese people living here. It's not their fault. It's the government. It's the government, the communists. It's the communist fault. So. But they're not. The Philippine and Chinese relationship. It's not. It's not going well. It's not going well. It's not going well. Yo, hey Tim. Oh yo, Gino. All right, Tim, my good friend in Las Vegas. Fortune, right, JK, on oil. Also on the east side where the Benham. Oh yeah, the Ben. I've seen a video that Benham rice. I've read about that in an article about how much resource are in there. How much do you make, sir? Oh, you don't. Yep. Yeah, not gonna answer that, Bert. Are you retired? I'm on a U.S. pension, but you can Google. I'm E7 retired United States Air Force. You can Google it. How much my pension is. But I'm not gonna announce that over the internet, Bert. But that doesn't mean the CCP gets to take what's not theirs. The CCP didn't exist when the 9-dash map was drawn. Exactly. It's the Communist Party. I think, just my opinion, with the Communist Party, they're doing that to show strength. That's how they control the people. Just my thing. Xi Jinping, he wants to show force that he's powerful. Yeah, that's how communists, like, that's how they rule the land. They want to show strength. They don't want to show like weakness. I do not receive SSI. I don't have, I'm 59 years old, so like I'm 3 years away from Social Security is when I receive Social Security. All right, thank you, James, thank you. JP, USA, UK, Japan have aircraft training going on. Oh yeah, I mean, JP, they're always here. It's like, there's now like 8 bases here, maybe even more. There's always secret stuff going on. But at least 8 Philippine bases that the Americans are using here in the Philippines, investing a lot of money in it. One base alone saw $60 million they invested to renovate the runway, just to make sure the runway is up to speed. It's like, we're landing like a multi-million-dollar aircraft, man. It can't be bumpy. It can't have potholes. It has to be like American standard, American military standard. So heavily investing here, and Americans are pre-positioning a lot of assets here. That's what that's what American military does. Because if there's a conflict here in the South, with China in this part of the world, you want pre-positioned assets. You want medical pre-positioned assets. You want bullets. You want missiles. You want, aircraft parts, everything. You want all that stuff pre-positions. And that's what even some of the bases in the Pacific, the atolls that were in the Pacific, America is refurbishing a lot of that. We're getting geared up, and a lot of that, to me, it's all deterrent. The stronger we look to China, the better. That's my opinion. It's like it's all about deterrence. It's all about making them think twice about doing something funny. That's the reason back then Philippine government do not want U.S. military. All right, do not U.S. proud. All right, Bert. I think that changed. I think that changed. I think that changed. I think that changed. I don't think Philippines needs China, Bert. You're entitled to your opinion, my friend, but we do not need China. You can, it's like that. I do not want to be communist. It's like I like freedom, man. I like my freedom. I think most Filipinos like their freedom too. Even if I had a huge retirement, I would live in the province. I like the clean air, slow pace. Yes, yes, JP, right? It's like, for me, that's the thing. It's like I could afford, like a more, better lifestyle. It's like bigger house and stuff. But I prefer this. I prefer like living minimalist. Living out here in the province, living on a low budget. That way, every month I'm putting away money. I'm building our nest egg, money that I will leave to Dazzle someday. It's like I don't live an extravagant life, as you guys can see. It's like nothing extravagant about me. I did that. I did that at one point of my life when I lived in the United States. I had sports cars, I had nice houses with garages, expensive bicycles. I did that life, and when I retired, I decided to leave that life behind. It's like live a different life, and for me, it just worked out that I found it. I was able to change my life. Change it to more minimalistic, more not materialistic life. It's like the simple things make me happy now. It's like I enjoy experiences more now than material things doesn't matter to me. It's like I don't own like stuff. I don't own stuff. I can still put all my clothes in one suitcase and a backpack. I don't have a lot of toys. Adult. Like toys that like expensive bicycles. I used to have like 2 road bikes. I used to have a mountain bike costing over $1,000. I used to have stuff like that, but I don't have that now. It's like I just walk for exercise. I walk for exercise. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. The Panay Posse partners. All right. Anthony. All right. We rode our motorcycle all the way to Negros Occidental. Took the Roro. Just got back in the rain last night. Was very inexpensive. Yes. Check out the videos. James and Karen's videos about their trip. I watched it yesterday, James. I saw that what happened to Karen. James, when you guys were getting on the, she was behind you on the bike already, and the guy was like, "Where's her ticket?" That happened to us, James. We were in the car. It was me, Dazzle, and our friend Carrie. Carrie from Canada. We were gonna take Carrie to Dumaguete. That's why we were in the car. And same thing, we were in Dumangas, and we're sitting there in the car. After waiting, the waiting time, they're being put on the list, and then did the Coast Guard thing, and the waiting. And then we're ready to go on the boat. It's like the guy goes, "Where's their ticket?" I'm like, "What ticket? I thought I paid already for the car." So, I paid for the car to get on the boat. So I assumed like we're good, whatever's inside the car. But I said they had to run. Carrie and Dazzle had to run to that building, the same building that Karen ran to get their ticket. So I went on the boat. But they didn't make it, so they didn't make, so I was like, we didn't rode together. The good thing was Carrie was with Dazzle, so that at least that I didn't feel as bad as leaving Dazzle there, by herself. But they actually beat me. It's like my boat left before their boat, but I guess my Roro boat, with my car, it took forever. It took me like 4 hours. They got there. I mean, they were already checked in a hotel in Bacolod by the time I got to Bacolod, because I got to the port in Breadco port in Bacolod, and I texted Dazzle. I said, "Oh, babe, we're already checked in the hotel." I was like, "Man, you guys are already in the hotel." because the hotel we picked was right at there at the Breadco port, so it wasn't far. They just took a short tricycle ride, but it happened. It's like just another thing that it's like you would think. That's what you can't assume. You can't assume stuff. In the Philippines when you're traveling. But I'm sure it was an adventure for you guys. Kate, James and Carrie adventures. It's like and great videos and photos on the waterfall. I love that, man. I love seeing that. I know you guys had a blast, man. That was fun. It's fun watching that. Edgar, hello. JP, all right. James, would you rather had a cheap car or you enjoy it in a bike? I think James is more I mean, James is like he loves riding a motorbike. As most expats here, Edgar, very few expats here, have like get cars and motorbike. Most expats I know, they just love motorbikes, and I can see why, man. Because here in the Panay Island, it's like ideal to ride motorbikes here. It's not congested. The only congested part, if you're in the city, like Iloilo City, but once you get outside the city, the highways are nice to ride on. Garbage. Where are you from? Where I live now, I live in Numancia, Aklan, in the Philippines, Western Visayas of the Philippines. J and K, Karen, almost left behind, scared me. I'm glad you told us that story beforehand. Yes, right. Me, almost, like I said, almost happened to Dazzle, but at least Carrie, our good friend Carrie, he was with her. So I wasn't too worried because at least she wasn't by herself. Because I know that would have freaked out Dazzle. Like, I got to ride the boat by myself. I prefer the motorcycle. It's inexpensive and really great fun riding around. Yes. And James, he loves going up in the mountains, things like that. It's hard to get in, like I can't do that in our car. That little car that we got, man. I always have to park it somewhere and then walk. It's like with a motorbike, man, you can access a lot more area here on the motorbike. Do you have kids? We have Leanna. Leanna is like who? Leanna's 12. We take care of Leanna. JP. James, I have been thinking of a Honda ADV 160 or Kawasaki Barako 185. I have decades. Oh yeah, two good motorbikes, man. I don't think you can go wrong. But the ADV 160 is more popular. Like the Barako, I gotta check. I gotta double check, but I'm almost positive it's like Philippine made with parts from Taiwan and stuff like that. But the Barako JP is popular. They put it on the tricycle because it's powerful. It's like a 185. It's a strong motorbike. The Honda ADV, man, it's just cool. It's just cool, man. If I had to get a motorbike that size, it would be like a Honda ADV or a NMAX, Yamaha NMAX, because they're just cool. But I'm not a good motorcycle rider enough. I'm not confident riding a motorcycle because I never rode motorcycles before. That's why we have Bumblebee. That's why I put the sidecar. I'm not as experienced a rider as you, JP or James. I can see you guys, man. Even Karen. Karen's a better motorcycle rider than I am. Dazzle's a better motorcycle. I don't even know how to do that clutch thing. I know all motorbikes now, even like are mostly automatic now, but I'm just not experienced enough riding motorcycles. That's why I had to get the sidecar. Balikbayan guy. Hey, John. Hey, John. Salve and Maggie in Florida. Good morning, Gino and Panay Pasi. How is everyone today? Everything's good, man. I mean, bright and sunny again. I mean, you can't beat this. 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Little breeze going in here, man. I can't beat this. I mean, this is like beautiful weather we're having. I got to show you again. I got to show you guys the weather here. It's just amazing. Mom already did the laundry this morning. She's got all the laundry hanging there here to dry. I mean, it is just like bright and sunny, man. And I checked when I started the live stream, it was 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Look at that sun. Man, that's just like bright. Let me check out Kuya here if he started painting already. Oh, right there. There's Kuya right there. He's painting the house. Good morning, Kuya. All right. Check him out. He's like painting that house. So I'm going to have a new neighbor there soon after Kuya paints that house. But look at that. This is just my neighborhood. Like I said, that's why I love living here. Look at how quiet it is. No rooster, no stray dog, no tricycle, no noise. And it's like this the whole day, pretty much. The only time I see kids running around here, and I love seeing them in the sunset time. My neighbor there, Gub Gub, is here. There's a Gub Gub, and the kids down the street there, JP and them. JK, another kid named JK. They're like riding their bicycles here in the afternoon at sunset. But just like, man, just beautiful weather. There are some white clouds, but no rain clouds at all. No rain clouds. Dazzle is still sleeping, so I don't know what the agenda is for today. I don't know what the agenda yet for today. Mom and Dazzle, they cooked sinigang. They did cook sinigang last night. Liana was the videographer. I was out of it. You know, it's like I was taking a nap. I was taking a nap. They cooked their sinigang, pork. They picked the part like the pork that has the bone and pork because it makes the soup better, and I like the meat better when it's the pork that has bones on it because it's like more feels like more dark meat. You know, it's like. But they cooked that last night, so that video that's gonna be coming up. You know, I'm sure Dazzle will edit that video. Here we're okay. Hoping Erin turns away. Oh, okay, all right. I gotta look at that. I'll look at that, John, after the live stream. I haven't looked at the news as far as the weather in the U.S. You know, like T.S. Erin. I gotta look that up. Hey, Balik. The ADV 160 is top of my list. All right, all right. You and Daniel and JP might have the same motorbike. You guys might have a tandem. You might have a tandem. You know, side by side. You could be riding a side by side on your ADV 160. Hi, J and K. Hope you guys had a good Negras. Live the vids. Yes. I'm gonna be watching some more of the videos of James and Karen's their trip to Negros, and I'm also watching Ria and Roy's videos too. Lucita. Hey Gino, good morning, my good friend from Maine, in Maine. We're out camping this week. Oh, nice. I love camping. One thing I miss about the U.S. was camping. I'm a camper. I love camping. I used to ride my mountain bike out in the middle of the desert in Arizona, and I would just camp anywhere in the middle of the desert. I miss that. I would put like a sleeping bag on my mountain bike. But I can catch your live stream with my camp. Oh, nice. You can watch it with your. Have a great day. Best. Thank you so much, Lucita. Stay blessed, Lucita. JP, I was worried too. Yeah, but I know what you felt, James. You know, when I was watching the video, I was like, man, that happened to me. You know, imagine, James. I had to like, you know, I had a choice because like the guy was like waving me into the boat, and I was driving the car, and I was like, well, I can't lose my spot because we've been waiting. I remember we waited at least 2 hours just to wait on that boat, and if I don't get on that boat, the next one was another 2 hours till the next boat was gonna come. So I said, well, I'll get in the boat, and hopefully Dazzle and Carrie can get. And plus, at least Carrie was with Dazzle, so you know. But I got put our car on that Roro. They didn't lock my car, man. You know how they tie it down. They didn't tie my. I was kind of worried about that too. But I got on the boat and I was looking. I was like you, man. I was like at the edge of the boat looking for Dazzle and Carrie to come out the building, and they didn't make it. The boat start putting their stuff up and rope, and I was like, oh well, I guess they're not riding with me, So, but they caught a boat like I guess like an hour later. But their boat beat my boat. My boat was super slow, man. It was like 4 hours before that Roro got to Bredco in Bacolod. If I can find a good repo ADV, it's top of my list. I really want more power. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard, JP. Repo. People aren't repossessing that, man. The ADV, the people that I know own it. That's kind of like their baby. It's like I've seen people put their motorbike inside the house, man. They love those motorbikes so much. Yeah, I just haven't seen it. Most of the repos that I see mostly are like the 125cc, the smaller bike. On all my travels here in Aklan, I've never seen a repossession on an ADV. They just love those motorbikes here, man. You can always sell them. You might have better luck at Facebook Marketplace as far as somebody trying to sell it. Because instead of them repossessing it, a lot of people will post it that they made so much payments and they'll take this amount of money so they can get out of it. You'll have better luck. I'll start looking, actually, JP. I'll start looking at Facebook Marketplace to see that. Glad you enjoyed the vid. Yes, the videos are great, Jay. Good news, Balik. Gino, I am some numbers. I come up with the roughly 5 times more marriageable women in the Philippines compared to Western countries. You got a fish in the pond that has the, I know, right? I know, that's the thing, it's like, I tell that to people all the time. Just come here, come to the Philippines. You don't, it's like, you don't even have to do the online dating, all that. Just come here. Once you get here, get settled. That's JP's plan. Get settled here in Aklan, in Panay Island, somewhere here. And the Filipina will come. Filipina will come just because there's so many Filipinas here. It's like that you'll meet. It's like when you're hanging around other expats. The Filipinos will help girlfriends. When you go to Boracay, when you go to Iloilo City, there's just plenty of opportunity to meet a Filipina. Phil, the white of Frank. Yes, Frank and I we've been messaging each other on Messenger. I met them briefly. I met Frank at the Canadian Beaver at the 1-year anniversary, but it was so hectic at so many people. It's hard to talk to people because it was so loud with the music. But Frank and we've been communicating on Messenger. Great guy, I like Frank. I know I'm gonna be hanging out with Frank the next time we go to Iloilo City. The heart of our hi, Gino, kumusta po? Mabuti ako, kaibigan. Mabuti ako kay Oceanside. All right, I know where that is. I know where Oceanside is. I graduated from Long Beach Wilson High, and along the coast there, all the way to San Diego, all the beaches. At one time or another, I've hit all the beaches from Long Beach, Seal Beach, Huntington, Newport, all Oceanside, all the way to San Diego. Southern California. I love my time in Southern California. I spent a good part, it's like, I would say how many years? 9 years I lived in Southern California. Late 70s and early 80s is when I lived in Southern California. I like the Suzuki Raider 150. Oh, my neighbor has that. My neighbor has the Suzuki 150 Raider. They lower it too. John. They do that stuff here with the motorbikes. To me, it's like, but it's mostly like the younger people. They like to lower it. They lower the motor, like the Raider is a popular bike that they lower, you know. But they look cool. I mean, they lower it, they add stuff to it, you know. But the one thing I don't like it when they make the muffler, they make that extra, make it super noisy. I don't like that, man. I don't, to me that's annoying. If you're not a Harley, you shouldn't be making all that noise. You got this tiny little looking bike and you're making all that noise. I can understand if you're a Harley, you're a big bike, you're a big bike, can make a noise, but the little tiny bike making like a Harley Davidson noise. And James, I noticed a lot of the Filipinas are fun size and fit. Yes, I mean, that's common here. JP, a lot of Filipinas, petite. A lot of Filipinas are like right there, like that 5 foot height, 80, 90 pounds is usually. But they're getting taller now, JP. Don't get me wrong. I guess the mixed race kind of thing. It's like I'm seeing a lot of. Leanna's gonna be tall. Leanna, I could tell she's gonna be at least 5'6", 5'7", when all is said and done. Seeing more and more taller Filipinas, but I would say there's still more that petite, 5 foot Filipina. Hey, friend. Hey, Vegas Will. All right. I already did my weather report. I'm Mr. Weatherman. I already did my weather report, Vegas Will. But those Suzuki Raiders are fast. I think they have 6 gears. I can't keep up. I guess that's why they like it, right, James? Like I said, my neighbors got one. Their oldest son, I think he's 19, and that's why he rides. He rides a Suzuki Raider. They're popular. They're popular with the younger. I noticed, like the Raider is popular with Filipinos that are like, college age Filipinos. That's a popular bike with them. The ADV and the NMAX probably too expensive for them, so they go for a lot less expensive motorbike. Good morning, Michael C., my good friend in Trece Martires. Good morning, bro. Good morning, bro. Hope you're enjoying that new apartment, man. Your new what was that 2-story apartment? Coming from your old apartment. That's the own parking space. Hope you're enjoying your new apartment, my friend. Here in the U.S., when we Filipina spouses move here, our American husbands often drive us to find Filipino groups so we can make friends. Culture shock. Yes. It's the same with us in the military when I was in the Air Force. When I was in the Air Force, when I went from base to base, we always had a Filipino community on the base. You always I always looked for like the Filipinos. I always look for the Filipinos, like active duty or there's always like any base I went. It could be Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, Brooks Air Force Base in Texas. Any base even George, my first assignment, George Air Force Base. There's always like a Filipino community. And it was nice for me because, of course, you miss the food, you miss the camaraderie with Filipinos, the language. It's nice to when you get to a base, immediately, it's like people are like, oh, there's another Pinoy. There's another Pinoy. And then you get introduced to all the Filipinos that live on the base. That was always nice. That was always a nice welcome to a new military base. So I can imagine it would be the same for, Filipina spouses when they come to the U.S. If you go to like the Midwest or you go to Florida, it's nice to have that Filipino group, like get-togethers, Filipino get-togethers. Wow, I see they race those Raiders with tricked out 2-stroke fast. I know. During Ati-Atihan, they usually have a bike show, Like in January, for sure, they'll have it again. A motorcycle show. I've filmed it before in my Calibo videos playlist, but in Calibo by Pastrana Park, there's always a day, like usually 2 days. One day is like motorcycles, following day is like cars. But the motorcycles, man, they display some really nice bike raiders, tricked out, lowered lights on them. I've even seen like the giant bikes, like the Ducati. I saw one last year. I remember filming it. Remember the name Ducati and BMW big bikes. There's a motorcycle show at Pastrana Park every year during Ati-Atihan, and then the car show you always see a lot of VW, like VW Bug, and they even have a tricycle show where everybody tricks out their tricycle lights and mags. I mean, it's a cool, that's why Ati-Atihan is so much fun. There's all those activities during Ati-Atihan, and they do race them here. There are places here I do know they do race. They race them, street race, not legal race. It's like I have heard that. I've heard that they do race them here. I mean that happens anywhere. Like right, U.S., Philippines, doesn't matter. People like to race. Good morning, sir. All right, good morning. My very first bike back in the 1880s was a Suzuki 800cc. Oh, man, that's a giant bike, man. You don't see many of that. You don't see many of that here, Daniel. All right, thank you, James, Callum James. Thank you. Salute, thank you. The heart of our home. When we moved to the USA, we couldn't just travel around because we needed 2 incomes to get by. My husband wasn't making enough for us until he joined the military. Yes, I understand, man. It was like, I remember even in the military, when I was in the military, when I was like lower ranked, especially like when I was like E1 to E4, we have ranks like E1, you're a Airman Basic, E2, Airman, E3 Airman First Class, and E4 Senior Airman. Those ranks, I did not make a lot of money. I always had a part-time job. It's like I would work in the military and I always had a part-time job. I either delivered Domino's Pizza, or I would bag groceries at the commissary when I was an airman. I remember because they do not pay us well in the military, which was okay because a lot of it, we didn't get paid a lot during active duty, but they do compensate us when we were retired. It's like I'm blessed to have a military pension from the United States Air Force. I could not have retired here early in the Philippines without my military pension. It made retirement for me easy and fun because I didn't have to worry about finances. I know my military pension alone here in the Philippines, plenty to live here in the Philippines, and I have medical insurance with TRICARE. So I am blessed. I'm just blessed. I look back, 14 years now, there's no way I could have retired and lived the life I had here without my military pension. But I earned it. 20 years active duty in the military was no joke. It was no joke to put up with the military for 20 years. The military was like high pressure, high stress job. What kept me in is like the people, the camaraderie with my brothers and sisters in the military. We just have like that bond. It's like even now, it's like on my Facebook, I have tons of friends of mine during my military days, and we communicate all the time. We greet each other, happy birthday, happy anniversary, how's life going? We message each other on Messenger, we video chat. It's just cool. It's like another family. I have another family, my military brothers and sisters. Charlie, let's good. Hey, my friend in Boston. had a little bit of power nap. All right, hey man, I know all about power naps. I take naps all the time. Not a power, but I take a long nap. Usually after lunch is when I take a nap. I take a 2 hour, 3 hour nap after lunch. I'm a little late. Oh, no worries. You're not late, man. You're on time. You're on time. You're on the live stream, man. I knew you was old, but wow. Sergeant Daniel, I know you were old, but wow. 1880. I saw that. Hello. Hey, hello. From Angeles City, Pampanga. Angeles, Pampanga. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. My first motorcycle was a Suzuki 450. I know like most when I hear expats, when they're here, when I'm at the Canadian Beaver and they're talking about their bikes, they're always like I hear there's high numbers. I don't hear like 150, 160. I hear like, man, 450, 600, 800. I'm like, wow, those bikes had some power, man. You just don't see a lot of those bikes. Not here in our province. I'm sure in Manila, I'm sure the big bikes, Harley. There's even a Harley Davidson dealership in Manila. You'll see the big bikes in Luzon. But here in Panay Island, you would have to get it and bring it here. Oh, I did see a Harley in Boracay. There's a guy that rides a Harley inside, in Boracay Island. I remember that foreigner riding around on a Harley in Boracay. I mean, you can bring him here. I guess if you buy it in Manila, I know Cebu City probably. A lot of people in Dumaguete's got like a lot of big bikes, a lot of Harleys in Dumaguete City. You can get them. Like I've mentioned before, there's really nothing you can't get in the Philippines that if you want something, if you have the money, you can get it. They'll ship it to you here. Like now, more and more, it's like I'm seeing like the brand new Mustangs, the Ford Mustangs, brand new. I would say that within the last 2 months, I've seen like 5 of them here in Calibo, here in Numancia, because there's a Ford dealership in Rojas City. So I'm sure that's where they're getting their Ford Mustang. Work from home. Yeah, I figure fortune your work from home today. Enjoy. I know it's still work, but I'm sure you're more relaxed when you're working from home. I would if I never got to do that, Fortune. I'm jealous. It's like I wish I never had the chance that they didn't. That work from home never existed when I worked. 20 years in the military and then 7 years at St. Mary's Hospital in Tucson. I never had a chance to like work from home. In the Philippines, it's okay if the Filipino spouse doesn't work because the US dollar has a high value there. But it's still good to find them a group they can hang out with. Yes, that's why Dazzle's never worked. To me, it doesn't make sense for her to work. For us not to hang out all day. The minimum wage here in the province is not high. It's like, I think it's like maybe 500 pesos, $9 a day. And a lot of Filipinos that I know here in the province don't even make that. There's a minimum wage supposedly, but a lot of them don't follow it. A lot of them, because people will work just because, maybe they'll follow the minimum wage if it's a government job or if it's like at Jollibee or something like that. But like the locals here, like in town, people get hired here for a lot less. If you can imagine 300 pesos, like $5.50 for the whole day. It's like I can get like even the laborers here that work on your house, cementing, painting, doing like manual stuff. I can hire them here, for 300 still. But I would pay like 500 just because I can afford it. But I know people here that make 300 pesos a day. Like Kuya, they're painting. I'll bet you if I ask him how much he's making, I'll bet you he tells me he's making 300 pesos a day. They don't even provide him lunch. I bet you he has to pack his own lunch while he's painting that house. And Yeah, heart of our my friend, from Las Vegas, he had mentioned to me. It's also the flip side of that. The flip side of that is like an American living here in the province. If you're like isolated, if you're not near other expats, he felt alone. He felt like he didn't have anybody to talk to. He was telling me, man, Gino, I wish I knew you when I lived there, because he's back in Vegas now. But someday I know he'll be back here in Antique province. But he was telling me how there's just not, not that daily or even communication with other you feel isolated because like he was around all Filipinos all the time. And of course, they don't understand the humor, the sarcasm, the humor, the sports, the stuff that come natural to like for me, Dazzle always tells me this. I'm more American than I'm more Filipino. I speak the language. I'm Tagalog. I can marunong akong mag-Tagalog. But the thing is like I left the Philippines when I was 12. Then I came back here when I was 45. So my adult life, most of my life was in the U.S. So I'm more American. It's like that's why I get along better with Americans here, expats here. Most of my friends, Ruben, it's like Frederick, Clyde. Most of my friends here are the only friends that I have here that are Filipinos were some of my classmates that I attended college for 4 years. I have neighbors here like Kuya Rex. Me and him are friends, but we don't hang out. It's like he's too busy anyway. He's got his family. I got my family. I got YouTube, but we like each other when we see each other on the street. Hey, Kuya Rex, kumusta? But Daniel, I learned to ride on Intruder 6. See, look at those numbers. It's 600. Those are like big bikes, man. That's like, man, those are like they gotta be like a lot of power and a lot of big bikes. I age very well. I age very well. There's some mummies. There's a Hola, happy Monday. All right, Monday. That's right. Tuesday morning here, Monday. Hola, hola. Are all of the posse? I'll bet you, JP. I would not surprise me, JP, if all the Panay posse all got motorbikes. It works out, right? We'll have our shirts, Panay posse, and everybody's on a motorbike. I'll bet you everybody gets a motorbike. That's what I see anyway. When I go to like the Canadian Beaver, to hang out there. There's like a line of motorbikes right outside the Canadian Beaver there. Everybody's on motorbikes here. I will, but I'm staying small. 150, nothing too fast for me. All right, see Edgar, 150, 150. That's still, man, Edgar, for here, that's a big. It's already considered big here. Like that 155 NMAX or the Honda ADV one. That's already considered big here, but because I would say half of the motorbikes here in Aklan province, just an estimate in my mind. Every bikes I see here is just a 125cc. It's mostly scooters. It's mostly because they're cheaper. You can get like a scooter here. It's like $1,300. 75 brand new. You can buy a brand new motorbike here for like a. Then, oh yeah, the Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Ray, my good friend in Sacramento, California. Hey Ray, good morning Ray. Just in case, do you have a contingency plan if any conflict between China and the Philippines? Just say, I do not have a contingency plan, brother. If China invades the Philippines, I'm fighting them, man. I'm military, brother. It's like I'm gonna go arms. I'm gonna hide, dazzle in them. I'm gonna move them up in the mountains somewhere, and I'm gonna be a freedom fighter, man. There's no way I'm gonna like run back to the U.S. I'm always fighting them, man. If China tries something here, man, I'm not gonna go down like that, man. Tanya, hey, Tanya. Good morning, Tanya. Balikbayan ka, Edgar. I've had about 10 motorcycles. Ooh, wow. since I was in my 20s. Everything from 125 scooters, 1000cc, wow. Love that, right. Currently, I ride a tricked out Zuma, two-stroke, fast enough for me now. All right, man. Looks like you know your bikes, man. You're gonna fit in well here, John. Man, people here love talking about motorbikes, and if you go sit at the Canadian Beaver, that's like half of the conversation of the Canadian Beaver. I just usually just sit there because I don't know much about motorcycles, so I'm just sit there like, wow, it's like everybody's talking about the motorbikes that they had, their war stories on motorbikes. And hey, there's Ruben. All right, Ruben, my good friend Ruben. He's back in San Diego right now, but he'll be back here in Calibo next month. He's just vacationing in San Diego. Ruben's a resident of Calibo now. He's been in Calibo since January, so he'll be back here. I just paid Ruben's Calibo cable bill this morning. It's like. Enjoy your time, man. Ruben. Enjoy your time in San Diego with the family and everything in San Diego. Ride your bicycle, like your e-bike, electric bicycle in San Diego. I haven't gotten your balikbayan box, Ruben. So I'll let you know, brother, when I get your balikbayan box. Kevin Shores. Hi, Gino. Hey, hello, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Edgar. I'm a professional driver of an 18-wheeler. Ooh, but just starting. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Edgar. That's cool, man. 18-wheeler. That's cool, man. So you travel the roads in the United States, and the newer Midway movie. Ooh, Midway. All right. I saw that. I saw that movie. We're good. One of the greatest warplay. Yeah, I've watched a lot of Midway. I watch a lot of Midway movies. I like those military movies, and the Fighting Seabees. Yeah, the Fighting Seabees. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen it with John Wayne. With John Wayne, I haven't seen that one. My husband is a retired Navy. He told me a story about when these Chinese forces were threatening their ship. They couldn't do anything, but I don't think they would want to provoke. No. I've actually read. I've watched some. Because the U.S. Navy, they do patrols in that area. The West Philippine Sea. The freedom of navigation is what the United States promotes. That's why the carrier group, the battleships are there. But and I know China, they're not just provoking Philippine ships. I know they're provoking American military too. But American military is just too smart for that. They can play games. They can, but. U.S. is recording all that stuff. The U.S. is ready, man. They do not want to mess with the U.S. Daniel, we'll have to check New Midway flick. Sounds good. Yeah. I'll have to check that out now too, Daniel. Gino, did you need a ticket for the dogs? Yeah. On the ferry. A ticket for the dogs. I'm trying to remember. We never really have taken the dogs yet on the ferry, but I would say if you have it on a carrier, because I've ridden a ferry like the Boracay ferry. If you got it on a small carrier, because Chloe's small, the bigger dogs, I'm sure you'll have to put them in the cargo, and I bet you have to pay. But like if the dog is just traveling with you, I haven't seen many. But I wouldn't think. But I'll have to check. I'll have to check next time. All right, thank you, John. Thank you. My screen is showing 1 like. I don't know. I don't even pay attention to that, guys. It's like. Thank you, though. Thank you. It's like. as long as we're having fun, the live stream is fun. You guys are having fun. I'm having fun. That's the main thing for me for the live streams. JP, through Filipina fit on smaller bikes easily. The Barako or ADV are both good. Just need to use the clutch on the Barako. If you don't mind manual, go with the Barako. Yeah, nice tip. Nice tip, James. Me, I don't know how to operate manual, man. So, and I'm not gonna go higher. I'm good with the 125cc. If this bike, and it's been running good. Like the bike only has like I think 14,000 kilometers on it because we just ride Bumblebee in our community. In our community here, Numancia. Farther we go, it's maybe New Washington, Aklan. But if ever, I know Dazzle wanted to get the Fazio. It looks like a Vespa. The Vespa looking one is what Dazzle wants to get, I was looking at, there's a new Honda that's not a motorbike. It's a Honda like electric bike, but it looks like a motorbike. It looks like a little scooter, but it's electric. So I was thinking about that, for Leanna, once Leanna hits 15 or 16, and then Dazzle too and us, we can all ride one of those. And I was looking, it was only like around 55,000 pesos, about $1,000 for like a nice, looked like a little scooter, but it's electric. So I thought that was a Honda. Honda makes it. I'll have to look at that. I haven't seen it in person, but I know they started rolling them out here in the Philippines. That would be cool, just like around town here, go to the public market, and then you don't need a license for it. You don't need a registration or license because it's just like having an electric bicycle. I prefer the clutch. All right, JP. All right, JP. Can you go to the nearest 7-Eleven? Yeah, I mean the 7-Eleven is just outside our community. This is a gated community here, Camellia Clan, and at the entrance there's a 7-Eleven. I always walk there. We don't even have to, we just walk. It's so close. It's less than a kilometer from our house. Beautiful weather. It is. It's just amazing. I'm like, I cannot believe this weather here in the Philippines right now because this has been, I've been here many years, 14 years. I've never seen August like this, where it's so sunny. I mean, we've had maybe 1 or 2 days for the month of August that it rained, and it wasn't even rain all day. It rained like in at the afternoon, at sunset, or at nighttime. But during the daytime, it's been in the 90s here during the daytime. Just amazing weather. It's unbelievable. I can't believe the weather that we have right now here. Rain is supposed to come around 9 p.m. tonight. All right. I don't mind the rain at night, HD, because it cools things off, Like this morning, I noticed it's a little cooler, but it didn't rain last night, but there's even a slight breeze. I can see the clothes here that mom hang there. They're like moving. But earlier when I started the live stream, it was at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sure it's increasing. Temperature is increasing because I'm starting to feel warm here a little bit. But we're almost done with the live stream. We're almost like at the 2-hour mark. Daniel, my screen showing, and it's me. LOL. Let me see. I see 23. I see 23 likes. So we're good, guys. I'm sorry, see, JP seeing what I'm seeing. Oh, enjoy camping, Lucita. Do you have a trailer? We love camping too, but we usually go. Oh, I know, the military base camp. Those are cool, man. It's fun to camp inside the military base because you have access still to the shop at the BX and commissary while you're camping inside the base. Okay, good. Mine just showed one. Mine just showed one. Edgar, start out on smaller bike for sure. Get used to it first to build. Yeah. I was just I never got confident, man, John, because when I bought the Bumblebee, the motorbike on it, it's a scooter. It's automatic, nothing, no clutch, 125cc Yamaha Mio I. When I bought it in 2016, that's the first motorbike I rode in my entire life. Never been on a motorbike, man. My mom never allowed me to get a motorbike. And when I lived in the U.S., it wasn't in my mind to get a motorbike because in the U.S. it's always cars. Cars was the thing for me anyway. I never got a chance. My relatives weren't into motorcycles, so I never really had the opportunity to ride a motorcycle. So when I bought that in 2016, first time on a motorbike. Actually, when I bought it at the dealer, I was nervous to take it home. I was like, I figured, well, I'm good with bicycle. I have good balance, right? I was at the dealership in Calibo, so I paid for it. I paid cash. I was like rolling out, and I said, they gave me free helmet. I got a free helmet with my motorbike, a free registration, free insurance for a year, something like that. And I was like, all right, I think I could do this. So I had to ride for the first time ever on a motorbike by myself. From Calibo to here. It's only like 5 kilometers. It's 3 miles away, but I was still nervous, and I was on the slowest lane, almost by, anytime I see vehicles like on my mirrors, I was like letting them pass. And then when I had to make a turn left, I was like nervous. I was going slow, but that's why I never could get comfortable. I would practice here in our subdivision because during that time there wasn't many houses here. I was like house number 6 when we moved here, so our subdivision was blank. It's empty. So I was practicing inside here with a motorbike. But I never got comfortable. That's why I put the sidecar on it. I was like, I remember one ride, I took Dazzle. She rode in the back. We both had our helmets. We went to New Washington. And whoo, man, I was sweating, man. Because like when you get in, I was not used to like riding the motorbike. I was fine. But here, there's so many other motorbikes with you, especially if you have to stop at a stoplight. When you get stopped at the stoplight or intersection, there's just motorbikes on your left, motorbikes on your right, behind you, and they're just zooming. They're zooming like this, and I'm like, man, I was just nervous, I was like, I was going slow. I was letting them go by, so I was like, man, And Dazzle said, just get a sidecar, babe. And then, sure enough, after I got the sidecar, now I'm good, man. It's like because with the sidecar, I can just ride, and then if there's a lot going on, I can just slow down. I can even stop, and then like. Just look around, it's like no worries. I mean, a motorbike can hit the side of Bumblebee and they'll fall off. It's not like they're not gonna tip me over. They're gonna be the ones like that will get the damage. Hello, HD. All right, Beeline. I met my wife here in all right, Beeline. All right. I know many Filipinas. are in Australia. JP, I'm going fishing and we'll find a Filipina there. Not just a Lola fish. All right, JP. Beeline, she just happened to be Filipina. I fell in love with the woman. Yes. I was just talking to an Australian guy here in New Washington. When was that? Last week. I took my friend from Atlanta. He owns like the Junkster Cafe, and he's been here in the Philippines for over 20 years now. He has that Junkster Cafe, nice antiques at his cafe, and he told me the same story. He said he met a Filipina, and it was like the Filipina of his dreams. So he's never left. He's been here in the Philippines for the last 20 years. Area 51, I've heard it. I never went to Area 51. I know that's like in Nevada, where the aliens are, but I've never went to Area 51. What's that in your neck? What's that on my neck? It's my hat. My neck, it's like I keep my hat, it's like when I ride, when I go outside, I do this. Even when I ride Bumblebee, that way it doesn't fly out. My hat doesn't fly out. Every military base here has a bunch of Filipinos working. They even joke of Filipino. I heard that. I heard that Filipino mafia when I was working at Clark Air Force Base in Angeles City. I was stationed there, late 80s till Mount Pinatubo in 91, and there was a lot of us, a lot of Filipino military. United States Air Force military, but we were Filipinos, and they called us the Filipino Mafia. I never believed it, man. Not the dangerous kind. Yeah, we weren't the dangerous kind. Just the friendly one. Yeah, yeah. Make sure everybody ate. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Filipino parties. It's just like a lot of eating going on. Beeline, Kawasaki, Ninja. Yeah, I've seen the Ninja. I've seen that. That's a cool looking bike. I've seen that here. But new riders are restricted below usually. Oh, okay, they have a restriction. Makes sense, man. You know, you don't want like new riders riding those fast big bike. UK, no, I never got assigned in the United Kingdom when I was in the military. I did all my assignments in the Pacific. I had an assignment in Korea, the Philippines, and Japan. I always wanted to get stationed in the, it's called the Pacific Air Forces, PACAF. PACAF is what it's called because it's close to the Philippines. I can always like, when I was in the Air Force station here in PACAF, I could always spend my vacation in the Philippines. That's why I picked PACAF. Made it today, peanut butter travels. All right, but I might. All right, no worries, no worries. Peace, brother. All right, peace, brother. In the military, you have free food, place to stay, healthcare, GI Bill, and pension and travel. I know, right, Ray? I mean, to me, it was one of the best decisions of my life when I joined the United States Air Force at 17. I was 17 years old when I went to basic training. For me, it was the best decision. For one, it was a way for me to get my United States citizenship in less than, I think it was 2.5 years after I was on active duty. I gained my United States citizenship. And then, you know, like Ray was saying, you know, all the benefits that I've received. I've taken advantage of the GI Bill. I've used my GI Bill here in the Philippines. My pension, my medical care. It's just, I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed to have all those benefits. Beeline, my favorite motorcycle was Kawasaki Concourse 1000. Scary fat. Ooh, I bet that was crazy fat. 1,000. There is a big bike on the side of the main road near D Mall, which has been there for 10 years gathering dust. I always wondered why. Oh, okay. I'll have to look at it. I'll have to look next time I'm in Boracay. But like I said, Beeline, that there's a guy with a Harley in Boracay. That surprised me. He even went down, D Mall, the D Mall Talipapa, the D Mall right there where it's kind of like the public market. He was going down that road when people are walking on his Harley. I was like, what the heck, man? He wasn't even on the main road, man. My husband has a Harley Davidson B-Rod. Oh, cool. But he hasn't ridden it since we had our child. He reported to the DMV that it's not in use, yet they still charge him every year. Oh, the registration, yeah. It's probably the same here. You gotta maintain your registration here, even if you don't ride it. They actually penalize you here. If you don't register your motorcycle here, car, on time, and you let it lapse, they charge you like every week. Every week there's a penalty. There's a penalty fee for expired registration. It can accumulate severely. You could accumulate big here. I gotta put my power bank. I'm getting low bats. I'm ready though. I got my power bank, man. We're almost done. I'm almost at the 2 hour mark. I always go that's my limit now. It's like I try to keep it under 2 hours. I'm just gonna try to go through the messages now here, the comments anyway. That way, I don't want to like not reply to somebody's message here. Came back to the chat just in time to see. All right, all right, all right, HD. Good job, HD. Good job, good job. I don't write anymore as my balance and reaction are not good enough anymore. Yeah, that my balance. I'm always been good because I've always been a cyclist. I'm always I rode road bikes, I rode mountain bikes, but I gave up. I gave up mountain biking to when I turned 55 a few years ago because I just don't want to take chances anymore. I figure, man, I hadn't broken any bone in my body. It's like, why start now? If something happens to me, I'm older now. It's like recovery probably will not be easy anymore. What you working? What you working? Okay. If anyone got a Charles Schwab account, they do things a bit different compared to other transactions. One of the benefits is that they have their free ATM since they don't own their own. Okay, all right. I know that you can. Many people use their Schwab ATMs here in the Philippines, and I'm told that they get reimbursed for all the ATM fees. Things is that your account is also set up differently. You can't just drop cash to their branch to put your account. Count me in, Gino. If they try, I'm not running. Right, James? I'm not running away, man. I'm fighting, man. It's like I'll be one of the rebel fighters here fighting that. No way. I'm gonna defend the Philippines, man. Forget that. China ain't gonna scare me if they land in the Philippines. They better be scared of me. They're be scared of me. They're in my home. I'm defending my home turf here. I'm defending my home turf. Panay Pasi may need some camo shirts too, just in case China. All right, camo shirts. Good morning, good evening. Hey, Mount Janet. Good morning, good evening. All right, HD. All right, got those trolls, HD. All right. The issue is that you can't bring in your own body armor to the Philippines. It's similar to not being able to bring your. Yeah, you can't bring him here, but there's plenty of weapons here, man. There's plenty. You're Filipino, man. It's like you can get armed here in the Philippines. It's like the expats. They can't own weapons here, but if you're Filipino, you can buy weapons here. There's weapons to be bought here. How are you? All right. Hello. Everybody's saying hello to Mom Janet. Mom Janet. Hope all is well, Mom Janet. Hope all is well. Have you been to any of the amusement? Oh yeah, I mean, when I was a teenager, when I was going Long Beach, Wilson High, I loved the amusement parks in what were there? Magic Mountain. I've ridden the Colossus front that wooden roller coaster front and back. I've ridden it front wise, and they even ran it backwards. Making all that wood sound. I've ridden what is that? Knott's Berry Farm, the Montezuma's Revenge. I've ridden. I'm a roller coaster guy. Back in the day, I can't ride that now. I don't think. Maybe, but back in the day, I loved roller coasters. I just woke. All right, good. All right. I didn't see you come in. I was fixing dinner. All right. Dodster. All right. I'm reading more of the rules on the vests. You can't own above level 3 body armor. You can own level 3 and below. That you can own any. All right. I used to take my motorcycle Yellowstone. Oh, that would have been awesome. I bet JP. I mean, that's so awesome. Here it's in Wright, Ohio. If you listen to all the gossip. I know about Wright Patterson. I know Edgar because Wright Patterson, we used to be in the same command. I was stationed at Brooks Air Force Base, Air Force Material Command is our command, Brooks Air Force Base. And I worked at Armstrong Lab. We did experiments. We did experiments, centrifuge. We tested on pilots. We had monkeys, we had pigs. It's like so. I know about testing in the military. And Wright Patterson was our like the mothership. They were like our command, Air Force Material Command. Take care. All right, HD. All right, keep track. Okay. Bye, Janet. All right. Bye, Mom Janet. Bye, Mom Janet. Take care po. All right. Take care po. Take care, Gino. All right, Panay Pasi. All right, Fortune. All right, I got to the bottom. I got to the bottom here. I'll fight here for democracy, authoritarian. I know, right? It's like, come on now. It's like, I'm not running away, man. I'm not gonna be like running away to the U.S. I'm defending the Philippines from the commies. And if the commies come here, I'm defending the Philippines. Take care, HD. Take care, everyone. Everybody have a good day, good evening, good morning. Take care, everyone.